Hello, my name is Mark Livshin, and this is my project on prosthetics. I will mostly be talking about how prosthetics are created for and then used by an amputee. The first step to creating an artificial limb is measuring and fitting. Because every patient is unique, each prosthetic limb must be custom fitted and then built to meet the patient's needs. The prosthetist, the person who specializes in the fitting and manufacture of the prosthetic limbs, must first take precise measurements of the patient's body before he or she can begin to design. If possible, the prosthetist may take measurements before the limb is amputated. After the wound is healed and the swelling has gone down, the prosthetist takes a plaster mold or fiberglass cast of the limb. Measurements for this mold can be done using pressure mapping as seen in the picture. The prosthetist then takes the mold and creates a positive model of the patient's limb using plaster, water, and vermiculite. This new modified mold is then modified again to optimize the socket fit, and a clear plastic replica is created to test the fit of the prosthesis during its production. This socket is transparent, allowing the clinician to have an unobstructed view to evaluate the fit and make changes before the plastic socket is transformed into a more durable carbon fiber or acrylic laminated socket and fully assembled to create the finished limb. When designing a prosthetic, many things such as the location of muscles, tendons, and bones, and the overall health of the patient must carefully be taken into account. In addition, the prosthetic must be designed to meet the daily functioning goals of the patient, such as walking, running, cycling, skiing, etc. For lower limbs, the prosthetist must also align the limb to fit the patient's unique walking pattern by making adjustments while the patient uses the limb in simulated situations. To create the limb, a wide variety of materials are used, such as acrylic resin, carbon fiber, thermoplastics, silicone, aluminum, and titanium. The type of material that is used and the goals for each prosthetic often depend on the site of the amputation and the needs of the patient. For example, a cosmetic prosthetic limb, called a cosmesis, is designed with aesthetics in mind rather than functionality. To create a lifelike appearance, advanced plastics and pigments are matched to the patient's own skin tone. Details such as freckles, hair, and even fingerprints can be included to make it almost impossible to tell apart from the original missing limb. Other prosthetics are designed with functionality as a core purpose in order to get the amputee back to his or her regular daily life and activities. For example, a common controllable hand might consist simply of a pincer-like split hook that can be opened or closed to grip objects or perform other tasks. Prosthetics for sports are custom built to help patients participate in their old sports, such as running or skiing. Prosthetics that are body-powered are controlled by cables connecting them to somewhere on the body. For example, a prosthetic arm can be moved through a cable connected to the opposite healthy shoulder. The healthy shoulder is then moved in certain ways to control the limb. Limbs that are powered externally by a motor can be controlled by a switch toggled by either the opposite shoulder or by the remaining muscles in the residual limb. More advanced prosthetics use electrodes that detect electrical signals generated by the muscles when they contract. These limbs are known as myoelectric limbs. If a prosthetic arm has several joints, such as an above-elbow prosthesis known as a transfemoral, each joint might have to be controlled by the same switch or muscle. In order for this to occur, control methods only allow one joint to be positioned at a time. For example, the patient might use a switch or a muscle contraction to cause the elbow joint to bend, and then signal again for the hand to close. Advanced lower extremity prosthetic limbs, which are incredibly hard to engineer as they must constantly adjust to allow for normal walking, standing, and sitting, can be equipped with a microprocessor and sensors that allow the microprocessor to learn how the patient walks. One such limb is Oser's Rio knee that adapts the knee stiffness by sending a magnetic field through the fluid inside the device, which contains metal particles. It then thickens and stiffens the knee joint accordingly. One of the newest and most fascinating prosthetic limbs in the market uses something known as targeted muscle reinnervation, or TMR. This technology allows the patient to move his or her prosthetic or prosthetics when trying to mentally move their amputated limb. This is accomplished through the use of microelectrodes implanted in the brain that intercept motor command signals, which are then transmitted to the prosthetics. The only issue with most of these advanced limbs is that the price can be very steep. Tens of thousands of dollars can be spent on a single limb. Advances in the future will allow devices to more effectively stimulate nerves of the brain to allow for a sense of touch and allow patients to be able to actually feel their artificial limbs. Prosthetics today are already advanced enough to allow Hugh-Her, shown here, a double amputee, to not only walk, but run, jump, and even climb, all with one set of prosthetics. With this rate of technological advancement, and with the backing of DARPA, we'll soon have prosthetics that are indistinguishable from the natural limbs they're designed to replace. And pretty soon, we'll have something like this. Thank you.